Okay, we should have reviewed rather quickly what the radius is and what the diameter is. But just in case we didn't, or just in case you need it on your paper, I would draw a picture and I would label this is the radius and all the way, that's terrible, all the way across is the diameter. And I do think we're going to have to figure out what circumference is later. But at this point, what we're working with this skill is we want to make sure that we can substitute. Okay, so substitute numbers into these formulas over here. So we're going to start with the first one because it is asking us to calculate both the circumference and the area. So let's figure out circumference. C equals, and what I'm doing is I'm going to look all the way over here and try to figure out which one I have. Okay, do I have the radius or do I have the circumference? And I'm going to use the formula that coincides with that, that goes with that. So when I look at my picture, it says 7 inches. And because it tells me over here, radius is when it's halfway. So I am given R equals 7 inches. Okay, so since I have R equals 7 inches, that means I'm going to use the formulas that have the R in them. So I'm going to use this one for the circumference and this one for the area. So let's figure out the circumference first. Of course, I do not have my calculator, but we're going to leave it in terms of pi. If you do not know how to type pi by now, I will tell you when we get to that point. So we are going to type 2r pi. Well, since I know that r equals, see up here where it says r equals 7, I'm going to substitute that in where I see the r. So C equals 2 times 7 times pi. And then at this point, I just multiply the 2 and the 7. So C equals 2 pi. Now, how do we type pi? Let me change colors for you. Note pi is format, text, nope, format, or insert, my bad. Insert, special character, then type pi. Okay, so now that we have figured out the circumference, we now have to figure out the area. So area still just comes from the formula that is over here. So A equals R squared. You should know how to do that by now too. That's format, text, superscript, and then type your pi. And since we again know that R equals 7, I'm just going to substitute it in. So instead of it being R squared, it's 7 squared. So A equals 7 squared pi. You will solve by squaring the 7. A equals 49 pi. That is your final answers. We will do our reflection by saying, I know to use substitution when I can to solve the equation. You're not always given something to substitute in. All right, now the interesting part about this is that we now have the same radius. So we have radius equals 7. And this now is the height. Height equals 3. So the thing that we need to think about now, if we were in person, I would stack a whole bunch of circles on top of each other, because that is how you figure out your volume, by simply stacking one on top of each other. So we did that over here. We stacked them, a circle, a circle, a circle. And we'll do that if you're in class. If we're in class, I'll make sure to try to show that to you. But we're just going to use this formula over here, and we're going to substitute the information that we have. We have the H equals 3, and we have the R equals 7. So I'm going to substitute them in. V equals R squared times pi times 7. V equals 7 squared times pi times, that should be a 3 up there. We know me, I do this all the time. Okay, there we go. Fix it. Go back and fix it on yours. So V equals 49 times pi times 3. Now I know, because of our rules, multiplication, we can flip-flop the 49 and the 3. So I'm going to multiply those together first. 49 times 3, I get 27. 12 plus 2 is 147. So volume equals 147. I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So our reflection is, I know that I can substitute numbers for variables when they are given. Okay, we'll continue doing this. I love all my colors.